Hi, I'm Pattu from FreeFinCal. Today, let's discuss how the government and the RBI should have handled the S Bank issue so much more better without causing panic and fear in the hearts of investors. Just before I was about to shoot this video, the RBI has announced a reconstruction plan for S Bank with SBI showing an interest in buying 49% stake of the bank at 10 rupees per share. They also have a detailed plan of the restructure. They've kept all the branches, employees, everything the same. This will formally become official next week in their board meetings, etc. And after that, I think the moratorium that was announced yesterday on S Bank, where they had imposed a 50,000 rupees limit of withdrawal per account, that moratorium should be removed. But then the point is that I mean, legally, this kind of restructuring is possible only if there is a moratorium in place, there is limitations on withdrawal in place, and so on, and associated clauses. But then the government and the RBI should have handled this so much more better. See, the government is very keen that they will not allow banks to fail. Whether banks should be allowed to fail or not is a very debatable problem, and people are still debating that. But the big problem is that the way in which they handled it. See, you cannot say I'm going to impose restrictions on deposits and then add a clause, please don't panic, we'll find a way out. That's not the way to handle it, because people are going to panic anyway. And they did panic, and today there were reports of banks running out of S-Bank branches running out of money, people queuing up, and so on. So what they have done with the moratorium is to make sure that there is no bank run, that is sudden increase in redemptions, but then people will rush to redeem after the moratorium is in place. So there is still a problem, there's still panic and worry and stress for both the investors as well as the banking staff and so on. So this could have been avoided if the government and the RBI had found out and publicly announced SBI's interest in buying stake yesterday itself. Today morning there was a circular, or late last night SBI had issued a circular saying they have only they only expressed interest in-house, and they have not publicly expressed it to RBI or the government. And there was no such approval from the government. This is completely unnecessary. They could have just waited one more day and issued the moratorium and the whole restructuring rules one after the other, and it could have soothed investor nerves, and there was no need for the share to jump up yesterday so much based on that, and based on speculation, which is now true, and then fall down today. This much drama is totally unnecessary, and it should have been handled so much more better by the government and the RBI. So that's the reason why I said that there are I mean, this whole episode exposes the limitations of the deposit insurance as well, because the deposit insurance does not come into play, whether it was restrictions for cooperative banks like the PMC bank, or this in this case moratorium. The deposit insurance does not come into play, and whether you have deposit insurance of 1 lakh, 5 lakh, or 50 lakhs, as long as the bank has not technically officially failed, there's no deposit insurance. You still have to you have to do what the RBI tells you in terms of the restriction amount, and you can only take so much. There'll be so much problems. The net banking channels were closed today, so people have to pay EMIs, not to just to S Bank but to external lenders. There are mutual fund redemptions coming in, which has to be stopped. The AMCs have done quite well in this regard, and they've been very proactively. They have proactively handled this. So it's a total mess, and it's unnecessary fear, unnecessary stress, which could have been handled so much more better if both yesterday's circular and today's circular had been issued one after the other, with a much better perspective of what the government and the RBI has in mind, taking into account SBI's interest in the matter and making it official along with the moratorium. So it's quite unnecessary. It could have been avoided, but then that's good news that the government, at least let's think about the bright side. The government and the RBI has acted very fast. In a few days, I think this should be resolved, and I think by the end of next week, at the very least, these limitations on transactions should be removed. Maybe even in the early part of next week. So that's what I wanted to say in this video. Please share your thoughts on this. Catch you later. Bye bye.